For Wii U fans everywhere, the hourglass is running out. The final death nail in the Wii U's coffin will be when the Wii U eShop closes in March 2023. But coming up very soon, the Wii U eShop ends credit card support everywhere on May 23rd of 2022. The time is now. If there's ever been anything you want on the Wii U eShop, you better kick your ass into gear and scoop up the games that you want on the eShop before it's too late. Today is the final look at the Wii U eShop Virtual Consoles, and we saved arguably the best for last, one of Nintendo's greatest consoles of all time, the Super Nintendo. The market for the Super Nintendo has gotten insane, but there are some very low price offerings on the Super Nintendo on the Wii U Virtual Console.
Want to know about beer, wrestling games, or gaming? You've got to check out Gaming Off the Grid.
Welcome to the final episode of this Wii U Virtual Console eShop closing mini-series, where we are looking at the best value buys on the Wii U eShop on these awesome virtual consoles. If you look around, maybe you've already guessed, today we're covering the Super Nintendo.
Yes, the second home console from Nintendo. What's super cool about the SNES Virtual Console on the Wii U is there's 51 Virtual Console games.
There's a shit ton.
And I know there's a lot of different ways to play Super Nintendo games. The Super Nintendo Mini, it's on the Switch, emulation, it's everywhere.
Yep.
But if you just have a Wii U, or if you don't emulate or hack things,
stop breaking the law, asshole!
this is a great way to get in on super cheap. And dude, a lot of these games on this list are stupid expensive.
Major value here, and I think it's worth noting, you had mentioned this as we were prepping for this episode. Since the Nintendo Wii U can also play Wii games, that means you can use a Wiimote. So if you happen to have either a first-party Nintendo Classic, Super Nintendo Classic controller, you can plug that right into the back of a Wiimote and use that on these games.
If you have the SNES Mini, you can use the Super Nintendo controller and play these games pretty much organically, which is super badass.
Yeah.
That also applies to the NES episode we did. I don't think we mentioned that.
Yeah.
But I think that's great value. Let's jump in. We've been doing 10. This is going to be 10, but I think it's going to be close to 15.
Because we expanded on series.
Yeah, we did series. So let's jump into the first one, the Metal Marines.
Yeah.
Never played this one, but
I don't know about you. This game isn't really my style. It's an RTS, real-time strategy,
top down. It kind of reminds me of old school Risk, and if you're a fan of that kind of stuff, obviously. I've never played this game, so I don't know, but just from the gameplay that I've seen on YouTube, it just seems a little slow for me. But it might be right up your alley, real-time strategy. It's $7.99 on the Wii U eShop. This game, loose. And this is the bottom of the barrel. It's going to get more expensive than this.
Yep.
This game loose is $99.92. CIB $208.61. That's insane. So, dude, a lot of the games on this episode are just stupid expensive. So this is great value here.
Yeah, absolutely. This game is not on the Switch Online. This game is not on the SNES Classic. So unless you have an emulation box loaded up, this may be a good chance for you to play the Namco game Metal Marines. Moving on to Axlay.
Okay, pretty cool.
A divisive shooter from Konami. This game has I feel like people either love or hate it. The people who love it think it's one of the best shooters on the SNES. The people who don't love it are like, oh hell nah, it's definitely not. UN Squadron is. It's somewhere on that paradigm. You need to play it to figure it out.
Dude,
but I've always thought it's a cool game, and it is kind of visually awkward because of the way the horizon.
It's kind of like 3D.
Yeah.
It kind of goes like that. It's hard to explain. But then there are levels where it's side scroll.
Yep.
But it's a shmup, and I love shooters, so I enjoyed this game. It's pretty fun. On the Wii U eShop, it's $7.99. Loose. This game's $104.86, and CIB $227.52. That's crazy, man, for Axlay.
Getting up there.
And this game is not available on the Super Nintendo Mini or the Switch Online. But the next game is available on the Switch Online, which is really cool because this is a sweet game, and that's Demon's Crest.
Yeah. I think this game kind of has just gotten more and more popular as the years have went by. I mean, I remember 10, 15 years ago, I never heard anybody really talking about it. Now it's kind of that staple game that most people want to have in their collection if they collect physically. Really fun game, some unique controls. It's from Capcom. It's in the Ghosts and Goblins universe. You guys probably know all that, but for $7.99, it's a drop in the bucket comparatively to what it's going for.
Yeah, because loose it's $151.25 and CIB $399.70. So basically $400 CIB, which is freaking crazy. But this game is really fun. I like Demon's Crest. Now we're gonna move on to some Mega Man games. There's 4 Mega Man games available on the Wii U Virtual Console: Mega Man X 1 through 3, and then Mega Man 7.
Yeah.
I'm just going to go through all of them. Mega Man X, the first one, is super cheap, but we just lumped it in here to talk about all of them. So Mega Man X is $7.99 on the Wii U eShop. It's $35 loose, 120 CIB. Mega Man X2, $156.91 loose, and 508.21 CIB. And then Mega Man X3, this is where it gets crazy. Loose, $337.50. And then $939.27 CIB. And then for Mega Man 7, $271.48 loose, $514.06 CIB. The Mega Man games on Super Nintendo are crazy. I mean, besides Mega Man X, the first one. I don't know why that one's so cheap compared to...
Well, I think they're Mega Man games, like 5's the most expensive on the NES. I think people just... More of them sold, I guess. And then I know, like, X3 was later in the console's life cycle, so I don't think there was as many kind of sold and put out there into the universe. And then Mega Man 7's another dinger on there. Plenty of awesome Mega Man games on the Super Nintendo.
It is worth noting that Mega Man X, the first one, is available on the Super Nintendo Mini. But other than that, the rest of them are not available on the Switch or the Mini.
Yeah.
So that's pretty cool. Now moving on to one Kirby game, and that's Kirby's Dream Land 3. This game is available on the Switch. So you have a Switch, you can play it there. It's $7.99 on the Wii U eShop. It's $164.47 loose and $563.50 CIB.
It's another late life cycle release.
Yeah, I'm looking at these prices and I'm like, are you kidding
It's crazy.
me? This is out of control.
Getting nuts, yeah. I mean, it's got to get your Kirby fix if you're a Kirby fan. I'm hit and miss on the series. Dreamland 3 is pretty damn good, though. This is a cheap way to get in on it and play it. It's beautiful.
Yeah. Now moving on to some Final Fight games. We're going to lump these together as well. There's 3 Final Fight games available on the Super Nintendo Virtual Console. Final Fight 1 through 3, obviously.
Yep.
Final Fight 1, $7.99 on the Wii U shop, $13.98 loose, $75.31 CIB. So this is one, just probably get it physical.
Yeah.
Final Fight 2, $68.79 loose, $264.50, and then Final Fight 3.
This is the banger.
The dinger on the Super Nintendo. Loose, $194.59, almost $200 loose, and then 675 cents CIB for Final Fight 3. That's crazy, man.
Yeah, they just get more and more expensive as you go along. Final Fight 3 is really freaking good.
It's a great game.
I love all of them, to be honest with you. I prefer the arcade of the first one to the Super Nintendo version, but it is a decent home port. But I think it's awesome they put all 3 on the Virtual Console.
It's super cool, and these, again, are not available on the Super Nintendo Mini or the Switch Online, so a lot of cool value here, because a lot of them aren't available in other places.
Yeah, Wild Guns. It is available on the Switch.
Wild Guns.
That is Wild Guns. You're getting real expensive on this one.
Yeah.
$7.99 on the eShop, $327.48 loose, and this game is almost $1,000. It's $919.94 if you want a CIB copy. Wild Guns on the Super Nintendo has been expensive for a long time. It's kind of a gallery shooter, if you will. It's a side-scrolling game, but you've got a cursor, that you go around and you shoot the enemies and whatnot. It is a fun game. It can be very hard, though.
It's really tough, but I like the way it looks. I like the sprites. It's a sweet game.
Yeah.
Now moving on to another sweet game of Super Nintendo. This game has been expensive for a long time.
Yep.
I think everyone knows that this game's expensive, and that's Castlevania Dracula X.
Yep. Great way to play it, though, if you don't have the ability to get it physically, and you don't have an emulation box set up. Konami game.
Yep.
Awesome Castlevania game. Personally, I don't think it's as good as Super Castlevania 4, but I digress. This is still a game that is worth playing. $350 to get a loose copy of this.
And guys,
the complete in box is getting nuts. $1,522.50.
$1,500 for CIB.
Yeah. Yep.
Castlevania Dracula.
That's real money, guys. That's real money.
Insane.
Yep.
That's crazy. But dude, this is a game that for $8, highly recommend. A great Castlevania game. Now moving on to Earthbound. A lot of people know this game's crazy expensive. What's cool about Earthbound is it's available on the Super Nintendo Mini and the Switch Online. I think they just know that it's hard to get.
Yep.
They want people to play it. It's not my style of game, but I know of it, obviously.
Yeah, it's a JRPG. Yeah, it's awesome. It's a really fun game. It's one of the first games I beat when I got my SNES Classic. Yeah,
that's really cool.
I think I named my character something really funny. I can't remember what it is now. I'd have to open it up the file. But this is ironic, though. This is the only game on the Super Nintendo eShop that warrants a $9.99 price tag.
I think
for
they
whatever
know
reason.
that this game is popular and it's super expensive because loose. This game is $394.55, almost $400. And then CIB for Earthbound, $2,235 even. $2,200. That's stupid.
Well, I think CIB, the reason is Earthbound came in a bigger box, right? It had like the strategy guide, a book, and all this
so
stuff.
So the box is probably pretty freaking cool.
Yeah, so I think that's probably why you see that huge jump there. But nonetheless, you get it on the DL on the Wii U if you care to, while you still have time. One last game.
Yes.
Franchise that's been around for quite a while. I think it even recently got a Switch game into the series, so it's still alive. Harvest Moon.
Harvest Moon.
The first one.
A lot of people know this series, love this series. I've never gotten into the series, but I know a lot of people like it.
I jacked around with the GameCube Harvest Moon, I believe, because my brother was way into those type of games, so I helped him with some stuff. Never beat a full Harvest Moon game on my own, but I have dabbled. Super Nintendo, though, $454 and one Abraham Lincoln, or a penny, for a loose copy, and $812.50 CIB if you want a copy of Harvest Moon physically.
Oh my God.
If you're a physical collector, which we are, sometimes I think it's fun to test drive these games before you decide that you want to spend that type of money. We've done that with several games in our collection where we download a game or we emulate it somehow to make sure that it's a game that we're going to play time and time again.
Before we spend freaking $500 on just a loose copy.
For sure.
And you know how collectors are. It's like, well, dude, if I'm going to spend that much, I might as well get it CIB. And then it's like, oh my God, now you're paying rent with the game. It's freaking out of control. But Wii U eShop, 51 Super Nintendo games. These are just the most expensive. Obviously, there's a ton of amazing Super Nintendo games. You got like your Mario Worlds and all these sweet Super Nintendo games, but those games are cheap. It's so freaking cool, and if you have the SNES Mini controller, you can play it with that.
Yeah, I think
it just works so good.
That's important if you want kind of that real experience. Some people that emulate, they don't care what controller they play with.
That's weird.
That's weird to me. I don't understand that. I'm not against emulation, but if I am emulating, I like having things as close to the real thing in my hands. I don't want to play a Super Nintendo game with an Xbox controller or a PS2 controller. Just don't want to. I could, but I don't want to. I want that feel. So I think the Wii U offers that very unique opportunity. You can mod the Wii U very easily. We know that. You can mod the Wii very easily. There's tons of ways. You mentioned that early in this episode. Tons of ways to play 8-bit and 16-bit era stuff. So you got to read your own mail, but I think an awesome way to load up your Wii U is with all various virtual console games. We mentioned in a couple episodes that, and in this one, the card support is going away, so I would highly recommend you throw $50 on there
or $100,
and you can still use those funds then after it takes away credit card support because it's loaded onto your account. I would recommend doing that and just chip away and get some games that you want to play. There's a couple that I've seen even on this list today that I'm like, I probably will get that.
For $8, you know, just because, man, it's like, I want Castlevania Dragon X, but fucking $350 just loose, you know. But now you can have it and play it.
But and the thing is I've got the SNES Mini completely modded. I've got a ton of shit on there. But sometimes when you're on your Wii U, you can have a movie on and just be playing on the tablet or something like that. So there's some benefits there that maybe 100%. You don't get on other options.
And dude, our Wii U, when we load the menu and we see, it's just so cool. You can be playing a TurboGrafx 16 game and then jump over to like a modern game and then jump over to. It's just, I love the versatility of the Nintendo Wii U. We talk about it a lot. You guys know that we love the console. We also love beer. So let's talk about this beer that was given to us by Knack Time. Thanks, buddy. We met him.
Good old Kyle.
We met him at the back of his car trunk. This is the Peach Crumble. Wheat ale with peach, cinnamon, and vanilla. This is by Little Beaver Brewery out of Bloomington, Illinois, which is cool because I'm pretty sure we've been to this brewery.
When we went to Bloomington Normal Con a year or two ago, we stopped in there and we had lunch.
And it was huge brewery, pretty good. I'm really liking this beer. It's not too heavy. It's got a nice peach taste. It kind of reminds me of like a tea. This would be a great hot summer day drink that Like, it doesn't really taste like beer.
No,
it's just a nice, easy drinker.
It is. It's a beautiful, crisp, bright flavors. I think you nailed it. There's not much else I can add to it other than it's crisp and it's bright. Yeah. It's refreshing.
Yeah, and like sometimes, you know, I like the crazy hoppy IPAs or the really heavy stouts, but sometimes I'm not in the mood for it. Sometimes I'm just in the mood for something like this.
Yep.
And I was in the mood for something like this right today.
Yeah.
And it hit that spot, and I'm like, yes, it's just refreshing. And it's delicious, dude.
Fantastic brew.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much, Kyle. Really appreciate it. Call to action, if you care to. That's what all these episodes, this is the final one in this series. The Wii U eShop is so close to going away forever. It's kind of sad how these digital games and stuff can be here and then they aren't. I think it's teaching us things for maybe our buying behavior in years to come. But as long as your Wii U is running, you can still play these games beyond the time that the shop closes. So you do you. If you decide you want to pick something up, go for it. I know we've had a lot of fun scrolling around in the eShop, picking up different games.
What's crazy is, like, obviously we've known about the eShop forever. We've been on it for a while, but just diving into these episodes and like really diving into the individual virtual consoles, I've learned a lot. I've learned about games that I've never really heard of or looked past. And it's really cool because, like, unlike the other episodes, there'd be games where I had to just scroll right past, but now I'm like, that game's actually really fun, like Drill Dozer. It's a pretty fun game, you know?
Yep, gotta love it. Anyway, clock is ticking. Figure out what you want to do if you want to do anything. If not, we still appreciate you hanging out. We'll see you next time right here on the Wii U Mecca Gaming Off the Grid. Give this a try.
Let's get peached. Oh yeah,
that's good.
That feels really good.
Yeah.
That's what I wanted.